There is an award every Premier League manager wants to win, and one they secretly hate receiving: the Premier League Manager of the Month. On the surface, it is praise, recognition, validation, but history tells us something very different. Because this award does not arrive quietly, it arrives with expectation, with pressure, with a spotlight that turns from flattering to unforgiving almost overnight. Michael Carrick has just been named the January Premier League Manager of the Month, and that should worry him. Not because he does not deserve it, he absolutely does. Beating the top two teams in the league, winning 4 games in a row for the first time in years, restoring belief at Old Trafford, making Manchester United look like Manchester United again, that does not happen by accident. But here is the uncomfortable truth. This award has a habit of arriving right before things fall apart, and it does not care how good your intentions are. It does not care how logical your football is. It does not care how calm you look on the touchline. Once you win it, the game changes. Opponents change, expectations change. The margin for error disappears. And now, Carrick is standing exactly where so many managers stood before him, right at the point where promise meets pressure. Because if he survives what comes next, this stops being a nice interim story. It becomes something else entirely. The Premier League does not just have a curse problem. It might genuinely have a Michael Carrick problem. But if he does not, then this award becomes the moment everything started to wobble. And history is not on his side. Fans call it superstition. Pundits joke about it. But this Manager of the Month curse is not magic. It is maths. Managers do not win this award for being average. They win it for being exceptional, for runs that are intense, emotional, often unsustainable. You win it because everything clicks at once. Finishing goes in, decisions look perfect, confidence is flowing through the squad, and then reality catches up. That is regression to the mean. Football always pulls you back towards normal. But there is more to it than numbers, because the award changes how everyone sees you. Once you are crowned Manager of the Month, you are no longer the surprise. You are the target. Opponents prepare differently. Low blocks get deeper. Transitions get cut off earlier. Suddenly teams are not testing you, they are studying you. And then there is the psychological weight. The crowd expects wins now. Not performances, not progress. Wins. Players feel it. Coaches feel it. Even the calm ones. The shirt gets heavier. And the fixtures do not get easier just because they look easier on paper. This season, the curse is not theory. It is recent, visible, uncomfortable. Unai Emery picked up the award in December. Aston Villa were flying, unbeatable at home. Then the run ended. Ruben Amorim won it in October. Momentum, belief. A few months later, Manchester United were searching for a new manager. Oliver Glasner was rewarded in September. Crystal Palace fans celebrated. What followed was a long, grinding drop in form that never really recovered. Arne Slot began the season with the award, a statement of intent. Then reality hit. Different clubs, different styles, same pattern, a peak, recognition, then resistance. And now Michael Carrick is standing in the same place. January Manager of the Month. Earned it properly, beat the best teams, did it with discipline, clarity and bravery. But the timing matters, because the very next game told a familiar story. West Ham away. A game United should manage, a game they should control. Instead, they drew. Again, nothing disastrous, no collapse, no panic. But the tone shifted, because this is how the curse works. It does not announce itself loudly, it whispers. And suddenly, the conversation is no longer about what Carrick has fixed. It is about what he has not. The question becomes sharper. Can this team win when it is expected to? Or does it only thrive when it is chasing something? That is why this season feels heavier than most. Because Carrick is not just another name on the list. He is trying to change the direction of a club that has been living in reaction mode for years. And now the margin for error is shrinking fast. There is one name that always comes up when people talk about breaking this curse. Pep Guardiola. Not because he ignored it, but because he exposed it. When Pep won Manager of the Month, nothing changed. The wins kept coming. The patterns stayed intact. The control never slipped. Opponents adapted. It did not matter. Pressure increased. It did not matter. Pep did not beat the curse by luck. He beat it by being better prepared than everyone else. Because Pep's teams do not rely on emotion. They rely on control. They do not need chaos. They manufacture inevitability. And that is the standard Carrick is being measured against now. Not publicly, not officially, but subconsciously. Because breaking the curse is not about surviving a bad result. It is about proving you can dominate the games you are supposed to dominate. Pep did not just beat big teams. He suffocated smaller ones. No drama, no panic, no excuses. And this is where Carrick's real test begins. Not against the giants, but against the teams that turn up to frustrate, to slow the game down, to sit deep and wait for mistakes. This is the line between good managers and elite ones, between reaction and control. If Carrick can do what Pep did, if he can take this award and treat it like background noise, then the curse does not apply to him. It disappears. But if he cannot, if United keep stumbling when they are asked to take responsibility, then this award becomes the turning point, not because it cursed him, but because it exposed the one problem he has not solved yet. And that problem is waiting right now. In the next 5 games, if this were just superstition, there would be nothing to measure. But this is football, and football always leaves a trail of numbers behind it. For Michael Carrick, the line is simple. 3 wins from the next 5 league games. That is the point where the narrative breaks. Anything less, and the whispers grow louder. Anything more, and the curse stops applying to him. Because historically, that is where the drop-off happens. Managers win the award, they enjoy the applause, then they stumble through the following month. Points drop, confidence wobbles, momentum leaks away. 3 wins changes that story. It shows consistency, it shows control, it shows that the award did not mark a peak, it marked a platform. But here is the twist. On paper, this run looks manageable. No title deciders, no derby chaos, no heavyweight shootouts. And that is exactly why it is dangerous. Because Manchester United have never really struggled to raise themselves for the biggest nights. The problem has always been everything else. This has nothing to do with luck, nothing to do with jinxes. Manchester United's biggest problem under Carrick has already shown itself. They are excellent when the game is open, when space exists, when they can suffer, spring, and punish. They look alive. But when the game slows down, something changes. When teams sit deep, when possession is handed to them, when patience is required, United hesitate. This is not new. For years, United have been a team that reacts better than it dictates. They show up when they are underdogs. They struggle when they are favourites. And the upcoming fixtures lean heavily into that weakness. Opponents who will not press. Opponents who will not chase. Opponents who will happily sit in a low block and dare United to break them down. This is where Carrick's reputation will be tested properly, because beating elite teams proves you can organise. Breaking down stubborn ones proves you can evolve. If Carrick can solve this, if he can turn possession into pressure, control into chances, patience into goals, then the award becomes irrelevant. The curse fades into background noise. But if he cannot, if United keep dropping points in games they dominate, then this is bigger than superstition. It becomes a tactical ceiling. And that is the difference between a strong interim run and a manager who changes the direction of the club. This is the test that defines modern managers. Not the nights under the lights, not the games where adrenaline carries you through. The low block, 10 men behind the ball, compact lines, no space in behind. These are the games that ask different questions. These matches will not be decided by brilliance. They will be decided by decision-making. And this is where the curse becomes irrelevant. Because no superstition can hide a structural weakness. If Carrick figures this out, everything changes. United stop being a team that waits for moments. They become a team that creates them. They stop relying on emotional spikes. They start imposing rhythm. This is the difference between surviving seasons and shaping them. Because once you beat the low block consistently, the league shifts. Opponents cannot just sit off anymore. They have to engage. And when they engage, space opens up again. That is how dominance is built. This is why this moment matters more than the award. more than the headlines, more than the superstition. If Carrick turns these so-called easy games into controlled wins, the narrative flips completely. The curse disappears, the doubts fade. And suddenly, Manchester United are not just dangerous, they are dependable. That is when the Premier League stops laughing. Because at that point, Carrick is no longer an interim riding momentum. He is a manager solving problems in real time. And if he does that now, with this squad, in this moment, then this season becomes the foundation, not the peak, and the rest of the league will feel it. And of course, there is one more detail that always sneaks into this conversation. That lad with the massive afro. You know the one. If Carrick finds the balance between structure and freedom, if he gives United clarity in these slow, stubborn games and actually get 5 wins in a row, maybe, just maybe, that afro stops annoying us all. But seriously, this is never really about the haircut or a curse. Curses do not draw low blocks. They do not slow tempo. They do not force bad decisions. Football problems are always more honest than that. Michael Carrick does not need luck. He does not need superstition to disappear. He needs 3 wins from 5. He needs control in the games that demand patience. He needs answers when the space is taken away. If he finds them, the award becomes irrelevant. The narrative changes, and the Premier League will not be talking about a Manager of the Month curse anymore. It will be talking about a manager who did not blink. Because at that point, this stops being an interim story. It becomes a warning. And if that happens, the Premier League does not have a superstition problem. It has a Michael Carrick problem.